So anyway, I went up the ladder. I was a production coordinator, and I did that really well. Turned out I found out what that position was. It was a gopher. Go for this, go for that. And I wasn't painting scenery anymore, but I was ordering it. And then there was a fellow by the name of Ralph Nelson, who was one of their big directors at the station. And he was looking for an assistant director. Can you do that? Yep. And I suddenly became assistant director. And after a while, he left, went to Hollywood. And then the station manager came in and he said, "Hey, we're short on directors now." He said, "You know all Ralph's tricks. You want to direct?" Yep. And so I directed for a while. And then one fateful day, there was the program director who arranged all the shows, who came into the control room and he said, "Anybody know any cowboys?" And I said, "For what?" "Well, we're thinking of doing a kid show on Saturday. We're looking for a cowboy who has a horse, can ride, do rope tricks, bullwhip tricks, and play the guitar." And I said, "When's the audition?" "Saturday." So I went in, and they had 50 kids in there who were going to decide who was going to be the host of the show. And I said, "I'd like to go last." And what they think, first of all, they want to know why I was there. And because I had been doing all the inside work. And they said, "Yeah, you can hang around." So I watched all of them. By the end of the audition, I knew I had it. Because some could play the guitar better than I could, or sing better than I could. But I was the only one that didn't have a Brooklyn accent.
Yep.
So I was on the air.
That's
a great
Very
story.
next week, by the way, on the Dumont Television Network.
wow. So after so many years of television, I have to ask, there must have been a blooper or a mishap or something. Is there any, like, I don't want to say embarrassing stories, but any interesting, funny stories that happen on or off screen?
Well, there was one, a major one. I had done some personal appearances at the Big E.
I was
You know
just
what that
there
was?
a month ago. Yeah, it's just there.
Oh, yeah?
I love the fair.
And I was an arena performer in their big arena.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And the act that followed me was Gene Holter and his movie Animals. And he was an animal trainer. And at the end of my show, and I watched his show, and he came over to me. He says, "I understand that you have a kid show on television." I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Would you like me to bring one of my animals in?" I said, "Yeah, that'd be great. We have a part of our show called Critter Corner, and that would fit in." So that Saturday, I arrived really early, walked into the studio, and there was Gene Holter sitting there, and at his feet was a huge Bengal tiger
Wow. That's for Siegfried and Roy style right there.
with all his teeth and all his claws. So I said, "Is this going to be okay?" "Oh, yeah, he's a pussycat." And I said, "Yeah, but I've got a problem." "What's that?" "I have a horse in the studio, and they're mortal enemies."
Oh.
And he was already getting a little edgy, and so was I. So we got my horse out of the studio, and we were doing the show, and all of a sudden, he went over to my sidekick at the time and grabbed him around his boots and started to chew on his boot.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And the trainer grabbed the lead, pulled him away, and he didn't like being pulled away.
Uh-oh.
So next thing you know, I hear, "Help, get him off me." And he was off underneath the tiger. The tiger had leaped on him and pinned him to the floor. And
This is live TV.
Oh,
Oh my
this
God.
is all on camera?
I thought this was
100
before it
kids.
happened.
oh yeah,
Now this is the show's running and it's live and there's 100 kids in the studio.
That adds a whole
Were
degree.
you like panicked or like could you keep your composure? Was it hard?
I'd be
with this
freaking
tiger?
out.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I heard him yell, "Help, get him off me," and then I looked around, and I was the only one there,
Everyone else had run away.
except 100 kids.
Oh,
oh my god.
All the
And-
crew was up in the lighting grids and ran out the doors.
hanging from wires.
Yeah.
And so did you save him?
I did,
You did.
I
Using
did.
the cowboy skills.
I just went over, grabbed the tiger around the neck, yanked him off the trainer, and I said, "GT," that was his name, "GT, sit." And the tiger went, boom,
That's
and he
awesome.
sat, and the show went on.
Wow.
The show must go on.
Yeah, well, the show definitely was a huge influence to not just Mike, but other celebrities. And we actually have a video of celebrities commenting on Boomtown. So let's take a look.
He was absolutely cool. I mean, you know, if you weren't that cool, you watched Big Brother. But if you're really cool, you watched Rex. Rex showed up, and here's a big live TV star on stage.
I got to meet him in person and shake hands, which was like a huge deal when you were a kid, because it's Rex Trailer.
If there were 300 kids there, he made you feel you were the only one there.
He had that quality that very few people have. It's almost unspoken integrity.
Every kid I know wanted to be on Boomtown. I was on Boomtown. I'll never forget it.
There were no black cowboys, and I was the black Rex Trailer.
So no, did you produce that
I
little
did,
video?
yeah. Yeah, it was one of those things where when we didn't have a lot of footage and Rex had some pictures, there had been a book that was published called The Boomtown Years. And I thought if I interviewed enough people, we could get enough stories and put the pictures to it. And everybody I asked to be in it said yes. Call up Jay Leno. He says, I want to do it. Sure, Rex Trailer. Sure, I'm there. So he, I flew out to California, interviewed him, and everybody, wanted to be part of it. It was a great thing. And then of course, Rex said, well, there wasn't much tape, but come up from the basement. And he's got stacks of film cans, which is what a lot of that stuff is that you see in the film. And it was 16 millimeter film that was used on the show or behind the scenes. So we really, it all came together nicely. And even to this day, we're finding stuff. People have home movies and pictures that they send in. So we're trying to put together the Rex Trailer archives so that this stuff will be around
For generations and
exactly.
generations.
People
Yeah.
who want to research, because this really is television history.
Oh, of course.
Even though it was local here in New England, that's what television.
Oops. What was that?
And that's how it works.
That's right. That's what television was. It was local TV, and then you went to the news for maybe 15 minutes for Walter Cronkite early on.
So speaking of the generations, do you have any advice for young people like us who want to get involved in the television business?
Do what you're doing.
Yes,
This is
give him high
wonderful.
fives up right here.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
And just like what Rex did, you know, he went in the front door, they kicked him out, he went around to the back door. He got in the building. And once you're in, then you hear what's going on, you can kind of navigate your way to where you want to be.
It was kind of nice that guy said, "Do you want to have a job?"
Yeah, never say no. Say,
Yep.
Yep. Well, I definitely will say yup, and I have to thank Mike Bavaro and Rex Trailer and everyone that's been helping us behind the cameras and in the studio. We're gonna have to finish up the show right now, and thank you guys, Devon and Julia. And I'm Daniel, and this is Wicked Teen. See you next time.